Hello there and welcome back to Adam's Fam Anime. I am John, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Straw Hat Pirates and the power-ups that they'll have at the conclusion of Wano. And I guess I should start out by stating the obvious, which should be apparent to any One Piece fan who's been reading week to week. It should be very clear at this point that Oda has every intention on having the Straw Hat Pirates walk out of Wano in an entirely different class than when they went in. And I suppose that is appropriate considering if Big Mom and Kaido both fall during this arc, it would mean that we are nearing the end of the very lengthy Yonko saga. Now, assuming that Luffy's meetup or reunion with Shanks would be the climax of the Yonko saga, it would only be natural that Luffy's crew would have to be a little bit more advanced and a little more threatening than what they currently are now. So in this power-up related video, I'm going to be discussing the power-ups that we know the Straw Hat Pirates have acquired thus far, and then also the power-ups that are likely to occur for the remaining Straw Hat Pirates at the end of Wano. Now, before we get into that, I'm going to address a Straw Hat Pirate who has an asterisk next to his name in terms of this whole power-up thing, and that would be in the form of Vinsmoke Sanji. This dude is a special case in terms of power-ups because he is the only Straw Hat so far in this arc to throw away a power-up. Now, obviously, this would be referring to the raid suit because in the most recent chapter, he willfully destroyed it. And this is something that kind of fits in with Sanji's character. However, my only gripe with this whole destroying the raid suit thing is the fact that he has two tech-savvy crewmates who could have possibly modified it in a way to lessen the effects on Sanji's body. Now, in regards to the most recent chapter's name, Warrior of Science, it's possible that this raid suit might have an outlying effect on Sanji's personality as well. So I suppose Oda, if he's going to save Sanji's personality, he's going to have to do away with the raid suit. However, there is a possibility that Sanji might still walk away with his physical power-up. So while we know for sure at the moment he has a power-up in the form of the Germa body that his father instilled in him at a young age. However, we don't know if he'll keep that power-up without the raid suit modifying his DNA or changing his body. So I wanted to go ahead and get Sanji out of the way because technically speaking he's currently in possession of a power-up, but he may lose that just as he lost the raid suit. So now I will go ahead and talk about the Straw Hat Pirates who have confirmed power-ups. And these powered up Straw Hat Pirates would be Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, Nami, and Robin. Now I suppose we can go ahead and start with Monkey D. Luffy, as this guy has gotten OP during the events of Wano. Now, all of these power-ups so far are specifically in regards to Haki. The captain of the Straw Hat Pirates seemingly mastered all forms of advanced Haki. Now, during his stay in Udon prison, he took the time to master his observation Haki. Now, I know technically he developed this skill in the Totland arc while going up against Katakuri. However, I wouldn't go as far as to say that he mastered it back then, since we do see him flexing his quote-unquote advanced observation muscles during his time in that prison. Now, something he learned for certain during this arc would be his advanced armament Haki. He manages this with the help of Boss Hyogoro and the fodder that Queen sent his way. So it's unclear if he's fully mastered this ability at this point, but we have seen multiple examples of him using it throughout Wano. So even if he hasn't quite mastered it yet, it's fair to assume that he'll have it completely mastered by the end of Wano's completion. And since we're on the topic of Haki, let's not forget the advanced Conqueror's Haki that he just picked up during his fight with Kaido. And as with the advanced armament, it's not clear whether or not he's fully mastered or grasped the concept of advanced conquerors. But I think it's fair to assume that if he hasn't mastered it yet, he absolutely will have it mastered by the time Kaido is defeated, at least if Luffy is the one to defeat Kaido. So with that growth in the form of the three advanced Hakis, Luffy has the ability to penetrate the mind, to penetrate the body for damage, and to penetrate attacks with his own will in the form of advanced conquerors. So if we just take Haki into account, that's already a very impressive power-up for the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. However, we also need to take into mind that he has some new ability, or maybe something he's had dormant, to communicate with people mentally. Now, this might just seem like some incredible plot convenience, maybe some way of reversing the voice of all things. Honestly, I don't know, and I can't really guess as to how this will work out. But I do believe that Oda is actually giving himself a good amount of time to explain or to think up a good rationale behind how this ability of his works. I mean, because if Luffy has acquired telepathy as a form of a power-up, it would inherently make him one of the most overpowered captains or leader figures within the world of One Piece. He would have all 3 forms of advanced haki on top of the fact that he can communicate with his crewmates and other people within a distant range, not even needing to be in front of him. And that's only what we know of so far. I mean, it's entirely possible that just like Law and Kid, we might actually get to see Luffy awaken his devil fruit before he concludes his fight with Kaido. I mean, I probably wouldn't count on it, and I would hope that maybe Oda would save that for a future arc, but with the way things have been going, I definitely would not rule it out. So that's going to do it for Luffy and the power-ups that he's probably going to receive by the end of Wano. Obviously, I spent a good deal of time talking about Luffy because his growth has been the most substantial within this arc. Now, naturally, the next in line is gonna be Zoro. He obviously has Enma at the moment. I'm not 100% sure on whether or not he'll be keeping that weapon after the events of Wano are concluded. However, Enma aside, we also get the reveal that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. Now, I suppose that it is debatable whether or not this is actually a Wano-based power-up, because a lot of people have suspected that Zoro has been a Conqueror's user all the way back to the Monet fight. However, it is possible that just maybe he's never had a full grasp or an understanding on how to utilize it. And although he hasn't actually applied any advanced armament haki techniques, it would appear, at least during his ordeal with Kaido, that he's also been powered up in the form of being able to utilize advanced Conqueror's haki, at the very least through his swords. So ultimately, Enma, Conquerors, and Advanced Conquerors seem to be the power-ups that Zoro's going to receive before Wano's end. However, in light of speculation, I would like to see Zoro maybe master the concept of advanced armament haki. I think that if he took the time to master this and apply it to his swordsmanship, it could provide us with an amazing new fighting ability or fighting capability for Zoro. But that's going to do it for our first mate. Next, we're going to move on to Nami, who has gotten a power-up in the form of Zeus. Now, obviously, the power-up of Zeus is something that's fairly straightforward, but it would seem that there's some minor differences as compared to when she was rolling with Zeus before. Now, the only problem with this is that if Big Mom for some reason dies during this arc, I would assume that Zeus would go with her. But that's just sheer speculation. Honestly, I would think at this point that Nami might be done fighting throughout Wano, but on the off chance of speculation's sake, I would hope that maybe she picks up a form of observation haki before this arc ends. Now, narratively, there's no reason for me to come to this conclusion. I just assume that maybe with her understanding of weather and her foresight and stuff like that, maybe it's something that she might pick up at some point. So the next confirmed power-up would be that of Nico Robin. Now, it's implied that she may have had this technique in her back pocket for quite a while, but this whole devil mode thing to her devil fruit, as cool looking as it is, I think it does require a little bit of explanation on Oda's behalf, because it doesn't really seem like the type of thing that the Hana Hana no Mi could or would be capable of. And in addition to that, there is the Fishman karate technique that she learned from the Revolutionary Army. So if you combine those two things, it opens up the path for Robin to become a even more formidable foe, really, and in the sense that she could use her devil fruit in combination with Fishman karate to do some immense and amazing damage. However, if she gets captured by CP0, we may not see the full extent of her abilities for quite some time. And to wrap things up with Robin, I also want to delve into a little bit of speculation. It would be amazing if we could see some armament haki incorporated into her use of her devil fruit. Obviously, we have no evidence to reach a conclusion like that, but it is just some wishful thinking on my part because it would be an incredibly effective power-up. But I digress, and now I'll move on to our final Straw Hat character who has a confirmed power-up, but this one's a bit more of an honorable mention, and this is going to be Tony Chopper. And the reason why I say this is more of an honorable mention is because the modification that he did to the Rumble Ball with Caesar's help is more of an improvement and not necessarily a power-up. It ultimately gives him more control over his monster point and lessens the negative side effects of him using it. However, with some hopeful thinking, he might possibly adopt the medications that the Mink tribe brought with them. If he does, this would enable the Straw Hat Pirates to be able to fight all out despite being injured, or to go in for second rounds without having to necessarily stay back and heal. Now, this could give the Straw Hat Pirates more time to go all out and to accomplish whatever task they set themselves out for, and then once they're done with their fights and concluding their arc, they could just go back to the ship and then sail off to the next destination while Chopper tends to their physical injuries while they're on the Thousand Sunny. And then to wrap things up with Tony Chopper, it's possible that he might also acquire some new ingredients to make medications of his own while he's on Wano. So that is going to conclude our coverage of the Straw Hat Pirates who have confirmed power-ups so far. So now I can move on to my speculations and my thoughts on the remaining Straw Hats and what growth or power-ups they could get before Wano ends. And first off, we will start with Usopp. Now, in regards to Usopp's growth, we haven't really had much of anything here in Wano. He has had some successful endeavors and has done a great job assisting Nami and other Straw Hats. But I think it's fair to say that we'll probably see Usopp in a 1v1 or a more dire situation at least before Wano ends. Now, with that being said, I think it's fair to say that most of the One Piece community would assume that eventually Usopp will have advanced observation haki. I mean, we have seen that he has observation haki, but unlike most of the situations where we've seen observation haki applied, Usopp is a bit unique in the sense that we've only seen his applied in an offensive capacity. So I'd like to think that if he does get into a serious conflict where, as per usual, he's beaten bloody or to the point of needing to defend himself, then I would say that advanced observation is almost certainly in the cards for Usopp. And yet still, probably a more effective power-up for Usopp coming at the end of Wano would be an upgrade to his bag of tricks. As we learned in this arc that Sea Stone or Sea Prism Stone is native to Wano. And I don't think I need to tell you how effective Usopp would be at handling situations if he had the ability to injure or nerf Devil Fruit users from afar by sniping them with either Sea Stone projectiles or Sea Stone cuffs. I mean, if he were to devise some way of properly utilizing Sea Stone with his observation haki, he almost certainly would be a viable threat to any Devil Fruit user. Now, that would set up the perfect segue into Franky and his potential power-ups. Now, when it comes to Franky, I would absolutely love to see him use any form of haki or advanced haki, but we don't have any evidence to conclude that that's where he's headed. However, just like with Usopp, if he were to incorporate Sea Stone bullets into his guns and his weapons, then it's entirely possible that he also could be a very formidable opponent to any Devil Fruit user coming up. And even as a small bonus to Franky's power-ups, it could possibly mean a subtle power-up for the Thousand Sunny. Ultimately, the Sunny doesn't necessarily need Sea Stone, as Luffy or Zoro could just send away any Sea Kings with their Conqueror's haki. But if Franky were to upgrade the Thousand Sunny before continuing off from Wano, that would probably be the way he'd do it. Now, next we are moving on to Jinbei. Obviously, we haven't had any reasoning to conclude that he'll be getting a power-up. The fishman of the Straw Hat crew is already, without Devil Fruits at least, the strongest hand-to-hand combatant on the crew. But if we were to add a power-up to make him OP, the best thing to do would be advanced armament. Now, we've already seen that he's very proficient at using armament haki. However, if he were to incorporate advanced armament into his fishman karate techniques, he would undoubtedly become one of the most powerful hand-to-hand combat characters within the world of One Piece, if not the most powerful. So hopefully advanced armament for Jinbei would be the go-to. Now, obviously, last on the list is going to be my man Brook. And to be quite honest, I don't really foresee any real avenues of growth for Brook within the context of Wano. Now, it's possible maybe he'll get an upgraded blade, maybe he'll learn some form of basic haki, but we literally have no evidence as to what we may or may not see from Brook in terms of growth. Though on the upshot, if we are going to see some form of a power-up from Brook, it may be here soon. If you're caught up to the chapters, at least as far as 1031 of One Piece, then you might know that it is incredibly likely that Brook may be encountering some of these strongest members of CP0 very soon. If we are going to see some form of growth or power up or advancement from Brook, this will probably be the opportunity before Wano's end. And so with that being said, that would conclude all of the known, confirmed, and or potential power-ups for the Straw Hat Pirates. Now, to quickly go over all of these power-ups again, Luffy has advanced all forms of haki. Also, he has apparently telepathy now. Zoro has Conquerors and Advanced Conquerors haki. Sanji has an enhanced Germa body, but we don't know if that will remain now that he's gotten rid of his Germa suit. Nami has Zeus in a form of a power-up, though we don't know if that'll stay with the survival of Big Mom. Chopper has improved the formula and the control of his monster point with the Rumble Ball. Robin has managed to combine a powerful Fishman karate technique with her devil fruit powers on top of showing us a new devil mode. Now in terms of the speculative ones, Usopp and Frankie have the potential to add Sea Stone into their respective arsenals. Jinbei may potentially learn advanced armament hockey, and in doing so, combining it with Fishman karate would make him an unstoppable force. Now on top of that, Usopp may also acquire advanced observation hockey by the end of this arc. And as far as Brook goes, we might as well just hold out because he may be getting into one of his biggest fights yet with CP0. And lastly, the two potential power-ups for the entire crew as a whole is adding Yamato to the Straw Hats on top of potentially coating the bottom of the Thousand Sunny in Sea Stone. So that will do it on my video for the potential power-ups for the Straw Hat Pirates by the end of Wano. Let me know in the comment section down below if I missed anything or if you guys have any ideas on what we might see in terms of power-ups for all the Straw Hat Pirates. Anyways, I'm John from Adams Fam Anime. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.